Hey everyone, this is Miss Briscoe here, and you're going to need the two notes printed out to go with today's lesson that you'll find below this video. So if you have not printed out those notes, go ahead and pause the video and print those out so that you can follow along with us as we learn how to convert customary units of length and capacity. You are also going to want the FSA reference sheet. The reason that I chose to have you use the FSA reference sheet is because this is the sheet that you'll be using when you actually take the FSA. So we can become familiar with it, and that way when you go to use it for the FSA, you're familiar with the layout of the reference sheet. So it'll just be one more thing that's comfortable and familiar for you when you take your FSA assessment. So we're going to be working on comparing and converting customary units of length and capacity today. And it's very simple. It's a simple process when you're comparing and converting them. It's kind of like saying I have 18 cups of water or 1 gallon of water. You can compare those. It's still water, you're just measuring them different ways. And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So you're going to want the FSA reference sheet out so that you can work on using those conversions. And the more that you use it, you might actually memorize some of the conversions. So let's look at a couple of these problems. We have 9 feet and we want to know how many yards are in 9 feet. So if I were to look on my reference sheet, I know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So what I need to think about is I need to say, okay, 1 yard equals 3 feet, so how many yards does 9 feet equal? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 9 and I'm going to divide it by 3. Because I know that 3 yards make up 3 feet make up 1 yard. So if I take 9 and divide it by 3, that equals 3. So that means that 9 feet equals 3 yards. So let me show you that again. 3 feet, and I want to know how many inches. So if I were to look at my conversion chart, I know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. So 3 feet, I need to find out how many feet or how many inches are in 3 feet. So I know that 1 foot has 12, so then I need to multiply 3 times 12 because I have 3 feet and 1 equals 12. So I need to multiply 3 times 12. So 3 times 12 is going to be 36. So that means that there are 36 inches and 3 feet. So go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to try the two problems down here. Try the 4 miles, how many yards are in 4 miles, and just do that one for now. So go ahead and practice finding out how many yards are in 4 miles. Okay, so hopefully you were able to find out how many yards are in 4 miles. If I were to look at my reference sheet, I know that 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. So I need to know how many does 4 mile have? How many yards does 4 miles have? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1,760 because that's 1 mile, and I'm going to multiply it by 4. And that's going to tell me how many yards I have in 4 miles. So I'm just going to draw it out here. 4 times 0 is 0. And then I'm going to do 4 times 6, which is 24. 4 times 7 is 28, 29, 30. 4, 5, 6, 7. So my answer would be 7,040. So in 4 miles, there are 7,040 yards. So hopefully that is what you got when you went to multiply out your problem. So the next thing that you could possibly have to do for conversion, so we just converted lengths, different measures of lengths. Now, sometimes you have to compare them. If someone wants to know, well, what's larger, 16 cups or 3 gallons? And they want to know what's going to be the larger number. So what you can do is you first need to put them into the same unit so that you can compare them, because we don't know that off the top of our head. So I have 2 miles and 10,500 feet. So what I need to do is I need to convert my miles to feet so that I can compare. So if I were to look at my chart, I know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. But I'm going to multiply that by 2 because I want to know how many feet are in 2 miles. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And 2 times 5 is 10. So 2 miles has 10,560. So if I were to compare these, 2 miles has more feet than 10,500. So go ahead and do this problem down here. See if you can compare. First you need to convert and then compare. So hopefully you were able to figure out which is larger. And the way that we needed to do that is we needed to convert. So an easy thing that we could have done is convert everything to inches. So I have 3 yards, and I know from my conversion table that yards are not listed on there as how many inches equal 1 yard. So you have to do like 2 steps to figure this out, because I know that 3 feet equals 1 yard. So what I would need to do is I need to turn my yards into feet. So if 3 feet equals 1 yard, if I have 3 yards and I'm going to multiply that by 3 feet, that's going to give me 9. So 3 yards equals 9 feet. And then I have 2 feet up here. So really, this equals 10 feet. Sorry, 11 feet. So I have 11 feet. Now, on my conversion chart, my reference sheet, it tells me how many inches are in a foot, and that's 12. So what I have to do is I have to take my 11 feet and multiply it by 12 inches. And that looks like a plus sign, but I'm really multiplying. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Put in my placeholder. So it looks like I'm going to have 132. So that means these were equal. So if you had equal, you were correct. I'm going to erase some of this so I can have a little bit of space to complete my next problem. So I have 62 inches, and it wants to know how many feet and inches are 62 inches. Now the reason that you see this is because 62 is not going to go evenly into feet. There's going to be some leftover inches. So if I were to look at my reference sheet, I know that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So I need to take my 62 inches and I need to divide it by 12 so that I can find out how many feet. So I need to figure out how many times can 12 go into 62 evenly. So let me go ahead and try 5. So 5 times 2 is 10, carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. That's pretty close. So 5 times. So I know that I'm going to get 5 whole feet. And I know that I have 2 inches left over. So 62 inches is 5 feet 2 inches. So go ahead and try this problem down here to see if you can figure out how many yards and feet are in 4 feet. Okay, so 4 feet. I know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So just by doing mental math, I know if I have 4 feet, I can do 1 yard, which would be 3 feet, and I will have 1 foot left over. Alrighty. So if you had 1 yard and 1 feet, you are correct. So now you have a little bit of a word problem down below. Patty is building a rope ladder for a treehouse. She needs 2 5-foot pieces of rope for the sides of the ladder. She needs 7 pieces of rope, each 18 inches long for the step. How many feet of rope does Patty need to make the ladder? Write your answer as a mixed number and as a mixed measure in feet and inches. So I need to go through and I need to underline important information. So she's building a rope ladder. She needs 2 5-foot pieces of rope for the sides of ladder, and she needs 7 pieces of rope that are each 18 inches long for the step. How many feet of rope does she need? Well, I need to figure that out. So I'm going to have to do some multi-step. She needs 2 5-foot pieces. Well, if there's 2 5-foot, that's going to equal 10 feet, correct? So 2 5-foot is equal to 10 feet. That's the sides. So then I need 7 18 inches long, 7 pieces that are 18 inches long. So that means I need to take 18 and I need to multiply it by 7 so that I can figure out, excuse me, I can figure out how many inches I will need all together for my steps. So that means I need to multiply 7 times 18. And I know that 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 1 is 7. And then 7 plus 5 is 12. So that's 126 inches. But it asks me how many feet that she needs. So I need to turn my inches into feet. And I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. So I need to take 126 and I need to divide it by 12. So 12 goes into 12 one time, and that's going to be a 0. And then I'm going to bring down my 6. And 12 goes into 6 0 times. So I'm going to have 10 remainder 6. So that means 10 feet and 6 inches just for my steps. So my question, and always refer back to what is it asking you? It wants to know how many feet of rope does she need? Well, I need 10 feet for the side and 10 feet 6 inches for the steps. So I need to add those together. So I need 20 feet and 6 inches of rope. So I've written it as a measure of feet and inches, but it also wanted me to write it as a mixed number. So my mixed number, I'll write it up here, is going to be 20 and 6/12, or 20 and 1/2. So those would be my 2 answers. And that is using the conversion chart to help me convert and compare customary units of length. Now, we also can convert customary units of capacity. Now, capacity is when you're dealing with like volume. So you're actually dealing with the amount of space that something takes up. So cups, pints, quarts, gallons, fluid ounces. So in this type of problem, you would do the same thing. You're going to be using the reference sheet to help you compare or convert these different amounts. The same thing with length, you're just having to refer to a different part of your reference sheet. So I'm going to do a couple of these and then I'm going to let you do some with your learning guide. So if I have 38 cups, because the C stands for cups, I want to know how many pints is that. And if I were to look at my reference sheet, I know that 1 pint equals 2 cups. So I need to take my 38 cups and I need to divide it by 2. And that's going to tell me how many pints I need. So 2 goes into 3 one time. Subtract, and get a 1, and bring down my 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. So my answer is going to be 19 pints. And my handwriting is not the best. The tools aren't working with me great for our Adobe lesson. I'm going to erase that and write my 19 up here. So then let me show you with the gallons. So 8 gallons, I want to know how many quarts are in 8 gallons. And if I look at my reference sheet, I know that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So if I have 8 gallons, I need to multiply 8 times 4. And when I multiply 8 times 4, that's going to tell me how many quarts I have. And I know that 8 times 4 is 32. So in 8 gallons, there are 32 quarts. And then the last one, you're actually going to be comparing. So 28 cups or 14 pints. And this is where I don't know off the top of my head. I need to convert one of these so that they're both the same unit. So I'm going to go ahead and convert my cups into pints. So I know that there's 2 cups in 1 pint. So I need to take 28 and I need to divide it by 2. And that's going to tell me how many pints I have. So 2 goes into 2 one time. Bring down my 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So 28 cups equals 14 pints. Well, they are the same. I'm trying to write pints there. So that means this would be equal. So go ahead with your learning guide. You're going to pause the video. And with your learning guide, go ahead and do the right side and have your learning guide check it with you. And then you can go ahead and move on to today's lesson or today's activity that's below the lesson. And if you have any questions, reach out and let me know. Have a great day, guys.